Hello people of the internet, it's your boy, Skinny Penis. And we're following up with the DDs, and we're looking at Tromp. Uh, the next cool DD, I would say, and in my opinion a better pick than Alvaro. Where Alvaro gives you nothing special, and it's just like laid back, very normal, nothing special DD gameplay. Tromp brings actually something new and has a bunch more gimmicks. So yeah, I personally like the Tromp. What is the Tromp? It's essentially a weird Ragnar, kind of. Like, that's how you play it, at least. You have an alternative gameplay option to Ragnar gameplay, but in general, you kind of play it like Ragnar. You can play it a bit more aggro in the beginning, though, because it has Ragnar DPM. It just doesn't really have the same effectiveness because of the dispersion being normal DD dispersion, not the like improved Ragnar Elbing one. But on fat targets, that still doesn't really matter that much. It is kind of Ragnar DPM. You don't get a heal, and for some reason you get DFA. Scratch that one though, because you don't have flag, you don't have anything. Like, the DFA is fucking giga weird and retarded in my opinion. Like, it doesn't make fucking sense. You get a speed boost. It's a Smartland speed boost. It also comes off cooldown like the Smartland speed boost. You get also more charges. Theoretically, with Superintendent you get 5, but you don't really need that. So 4 is fine, but you have them ready more often than Ragnar. And you get the 5/9 conceal. So this is like kind of the trade-off, that you get like concealment but no heal. You're a bit more sluggish than Ragnar, kind of, a wee bit. I would say it's kind of equal, and you get a few torps, which is nice to have, but it doesn't really matter that much. Like, occasionally you get torpedo hits. The torps are like the perfect example that they put them on the ship, kind of, so it synergizes well with the guns and the drops. Like, if you only need one torpedo hit on a fat target and a flood to then randomly drop both of your AA or like your airstrikes and get fires. And that's like the funny gimmick of the Tromp, is like the airstrikes, and they are quite powerful. They're powerful the longer a game drags out, obviously, and the more drops you get, because those airstrikes go through fires, not through alpha. What you do is you want to have both of them ready all the time. Like, you want to have both ready if you want to get permafires through airstrike. If you were gunning someone, you can obviously only have one ready and use it. But do keep in mind, that is very important on the Tromp, so to speak, that the gameplay doesn't really synergize well. If you play like a Ragnar with guns, or gun focused, like that, you're trying to gunboat down other DDs, gunboat down ships, you're most likely not going to be in drop range. Because for you to be gunning and dropping at the same time, you're so close to the enemy. Oh fuck. You're so close to the enemy that you're most likely risking too much HP. You are very fat, you are very sluggish. You can mitigate a wee bit of damage through your Smartland speed boost, which is kind of mandatory and needed. Also, under normal circumstances, the most viable option is to play it gun-specced, which means you also want to have propulsion mod, not airstrike mod, because yeah, your gun spec, you kind of want to have a actual acceleration and deceleration, like your ships should move. Otherwise, you're kind of like a cruiser dead in the water, while not having a heal and not a lot of HP. So yeah, you're not really spec'd 100% for the airstrike. Airstrike is still very strong though. I mean, we don't have a we don't have a target to drop him on, so I guess I'll blind drop the smoke. Maybe he sits in there. Another difference to Ragnar is you don't get 25mm side plating. So as you can see, for example, the Tashkent gunning me, he penetrates my entire ship. Also, it has, for some reason, internal armor. Internal armor doesn't mean that it can get Citadel. That's not what it means. But it arms AP much more, and AP becomes a really big problem for you from like a small caliber AP and AP of cruisers, like medium to small cruisers. They arm their AP the entire time on you, which becomes a big time issue because it's too much damage. Like something like a Daring, a Z42, for example. Now that we had Z42, Those ships really shred through you with AP for free. Oh, what the fuck? I do be having a bit more DPM than him. So I will kill him here, I think. He also used all his torpedoes, so I can turn flat broadside. Use my back turret. The turret traverse is obviously atrocious. Gotta... And that's kind of, by the way, here what I just did with the Shimmer, the engagement is kind of like really nice on Tromp. You get 5-9 concealment, and you should obviously be, at least in my opinion, concealment spect on that one. Like Trump, I don't know. I like to play it, as I mentioned, there's this Ragnar gameplay style where you focus on guns, and then the other gameplay I should maybe explain is when you kite people. Like you're a disgusting kiter without ever shooting, which is weird, right? Like you don't have to use your guns. You can just torp while kiting, left, right, and you will get torp hits. But even if you don't get torp hits, you can, because of the nature of the drops, which is way easier to hit than the Guden ones because they drop faster and they don't have that much of a delay. Because of that nature of the drops and the reload that is better, you can kite out battleships, especially with permafires, without ever being spotted. It's super simple with the concealment and the drops and stuff. Like you can really hurt battleships for free. Which also means like if you're ever low in a Trump, you can still do massive amounts of damage for free, which is amazing. It really is. Like here we get a fire, okay. Well, I gotta run a bit because this guy is like secondary spec, so it's kind of shit for me. Oh my god, dark. I don't want to trade too much HP yet. Yeah, they can see I actually got a bunch of pens on the strike. What the strike does is, or what the penetration on it means is, you can pen superstructures and destroyers. Nothing else. I think it's 21 millimeters. It's nothing else but superstructure and superstructure and DDs. Which is, by the way, pretty funny against fat, immaneuverable destroyers. You can do disgusting amounts of damage with both airstrikes if you catch them stationary. Here we got a permafire, and the next drop is ready soon as well. Like I don't have to be spotted here to do damage, which is amazing. And I can do a whole bunch of damage because he DCP'd. I thought he would full turn in. He's not. Well, I mean, on a speed boosting Georgia is maybe not the easiest to hit. It would have been better if it's a nose-in stationary Yamato, given that. But yeah, we gotta do what we gotta do. I think he eats torpedoes here anyways and permafloods, so like, yeah, maybe if he shoots I open up. But I can just like theoretically stalk him from stealth, send torps out, and always drop him. Like for example, now he's on a double fire and he's flooding too, so I think by the time my airstrike is ready, he should be still very slow and dead in the water because of the flood. Don't really want to open up here because it doesn't matter if he realizes where I am or if he shoots me, but it's more the secondaries that give me a headache. I don't think these hit. Maybe they hit. I don't know, do they hit? They would have hit, actually. Probably would have killed them too. Weird. My guy just, like, ran it in and inted, but... I find Trump to be really nice to play, honestly. It's a fun little boat, because there's so much different ways you can play it, and so many different stages of the game. Like 5-9 conceal with that DPM and guns allows you to fuck with torpedo DDs or like low concealment DD. It really does, also with the speed boost. You can outgun them. You have 28k HP and good DPM, so you can fuck them pretty bad. Then you can range farm with AFT like a Ragnar. And if you go low, or if you can't shoot because there's like a Venezia and a Nevsky up your ass or something, you can still be stealth and torp and drop airstrikes. So there's like always something to do. And really getting out all armaments on on Trump, and getting like the highest amount of efficiency out of it is always like, it always feels like a challenge. Like you're sometimes gunning and gunning and gunning because the guns are really good and you are doing a whole bunch of damage with them, and then suddenly you realize, well, I was fucking AFK for too long I never used my airstrikes or my torps, even though I could, for example. Like I don't know, it feels pretty challenging. It's a pretty interesting new ship, and I also like the concept. Like it's not broken or anything, but it's also not completely useless. It's a nice boat. To be honest, I would put it into the same category as like Elbing, Marseille, something like that, where it's a really nice addition to the game. It brings something new. I mean, you can debate on the airstrike though. Personally, I like this airstrike better than the other one from the Guden. I think the Guden one is retarded as fuck, the balancing on it, because it doesn't make sense. Like the airstrike is supposedly, it's essentially it's designed to stop camping. Like you can drop people behind islands for free. If you, for example, remember the CODs where we started playing Gudins on fucking Shatter because everyone's just nosing on islands. Yeah, well, if you bring two Gudins and the enemy doesn't have them, you have essentially a fucking GG Reds moment because you're going to bleed the enemy to shit without losing HP because you have two Gudins that permanently permafire people over islands the entire time and they just cycle their drops. Um, but my problem with the Gudin drop is it's fires and pen. It has high pen, but it only pens ships that are already getting dick penned and fucked by everything. Like it has 37, which means you're not penning exactly the most played camp ships. Like the camp ships that need to be fucked are in fact Russian cruisers, Kreml, Uchakov now, stuff like that. That needs to be fucked because this shit's camping like crazy. And you don't pen that. You can only go through fires at best. And yeah, I don't really like that on the drop because I would rather have like the Guden drop, for example, does a whole bunch of alpha. Like it does incredibly disgusting alpha on ships that it pens, but it does like zero on ships that it doesn't. So like what's the point if it's supposed to stop camping? I mean, the lightly armored ships that you do 10 million damage to, they aren't a problem when they camp. They aren't really. I missed the drop there. Yo, the Azuma killed the. That's amazing. So yeah, I would rather, for example, on a Guden see a move towards the fires, where it can burn people, like because it gets like fucking 4 fires every time on those campy battleships or like Russian cruisers, so it's an actual hard counter because it either burns them or it should pen them and don't do that much fire damage maybe. Like it should actually pen like 60 millimeters and shit, murder through a Petro or a Moskva on a rock, right? Okay, can I dodge it? Nope, I can't. Well, he was full HP and I didn't expect him to really run out there. I also thought the Shimmer would come up and spot him for me, but my Shimmer is reversed because he's also low. That's a bit unfortunate. I couldn't dodge it. Also, I fucked it. I probably could have sent 2 more salvos on it. I fat fingered Z key to follow my shells. What's going on here? I think we're losing this battle. I think we're losing it. Are we losing it? We might lose it. I mean, we have Mr. Full HP Bourgon still in the game. It could be decent. Well, to quickly finish the thought, the Tromp airstrike makes more sense to me really, because the Tromp airstrike is like easier to hit, but it doesn't penetrate anything, which essentially just means you go through fires. That's fine because fires affect kind of every ship the same way. You can burn down a Napoli, you can burn down a battleship. I mean, obviously it helps if something has superstructure since you still pen that, but you never pen like decks. Or on heavy ships, not even like nose, ass, side plating, nothing. Like, you only go through fires and superstructure, which is okay. Like the airstrike reloads quicker, it's easier to hit, and it doesn't do like pen damage. But like the Guden airstrike reloads super long, has pen, and does a bunch of fires, but it only fucks ships that don't have armor anyways. So like, what's the fucking point? How is this in any way, form, or shape, like designed to stop camping? Like the only thing it fucks is like a Kite Conqueror. Like I can 25k a Kite Conqueror with a Guden drop, but I can't 25k a fucking Moscow on a rock. I mean, obviously 25k would be too high. You could lower the alpha, but at least give it the fucking pen. It's that simple. Like then the airstrike makes sense because then you target the immaneuverable ships on rocks that you can't get rid of otherwise, right? Also, like the rest of the open water ships, like if you want to use it against a Conqueror, you do damage. I mean, that thing just runs away anyway because it's like plain open water. So I don't know. There's like a distinct lack of understanding when it comes to like rock paper scissors gameplay, I think, at this point. But yeah, this is the spec for my Trompi Tromp. Um, I go with gunboat like for example the Bazan or like a Ragna or like a Smaland. It's always kind of the same. On this one you can obviously drop Superintendent and go for Fearless Brawl and AFT. That's pretty nice because the only thing you get is one more speed boost, which is not the biggest value out of a 3-pointer. The Def AA is laughable. Like I don't know. This is like the biggest meme and insult I've seen in recent history. That fucking Def AA. Like I have God knows why this ship has the FAA. It doesn't make fucking sense. It's mind-bogglingly retarded. It has 3.5 AA range, which means it doesn't even get flak, and the AA range, or like the AA you have at that range, isn't even like good. Like it's okay-ish, but it's like, what the fuck? Like skip bombers don't even have to drop in your AA ever, kind of. Like skip bombers are outside, rockets mostly too. Like what the fuck is going on? Also, like torpedoes are mostly invulnerable if they drop you because they come into the AA, immediately drop, get their invulnerability, for example, Richthofen, and is out of the AA again. So like I don't know, don't ask me, don't ask me. Um, Theoretically, there's like an alternative spec to it, I would say. Like you could probably go for, I think there is some airstrike, right? Is there like an airstrike? No, actually, DDs don't have an airstrike consumable. So yeah, fuck that. Scratch that. This is most likely by far the most viable option. By far, by far. I guess if you really want to cheese it, but it's definitely not gonna be super impactful, then you can drop like, for example, AFT. And go for swift and silence, so you have like a bit more speed when you like zip around with your airstrikes and torpedoes. So you like don't want to farm with the guns at range. You only want to fight DDs, and then you like limit yourself on that gameplay because there is, as I mentioned, a lot of shit you can do with Trump. You can farm open water. You can go close and fight the DDs because of the concealment, HP, and guns. You can stay completely stealth and only use like the airstrikes and the torps, and then keep your HP for the DDs. Like there's many different ways you can tackle that ship. It's intriguing. So in consideration of Alvaro, for example, to it, you should definitely go for something like a Trump. Here it becomes a bit more interesting. Personally, I would run speed boost mod. I would really get it. Like you don't have 5 on it because you don't really want to take superintendent, so at least get better duration. That's pretty nice, but it's like by no means really mandatory. What in my opinion is mandatory is that you get propulsion. It is really nice to have the airstrike modification, yeah, because it gives you 20% on the airstrike reload. As said, if you go like swift and silence, for example, no AFT, and then like gun platform, like you still keep like fearless brawl against DDs, and you go airstrike mod, you can play this super AFK never spotted perma dropper. In kite situations where people push, it's pretty dumb. It can be really disgusting. Like one torp might just net you 50-60k. Because like you get the torpedo with the flood TDCPs, you get 2 or 3 permafires with the drops on most BBs. Question is though, the gameplay is becoming more and more passive, and lots of games like the are either steamrolls where you push, or you get pushed too fast and you obviously need reload on the airstrike, or the enemy BBs are just kiting in base, and then it sucks. It just sucks dick. But in general, like the spec isn't completely useless, because if you go for perma stealth dropping on heavy ships, torping and dropping on heavy ships, you can keep the HP and a fearless brawl for the DD fights, and you will win those DD fights most likely. Like against most DDs, you will just win. It's Ragnar DPM, and at that close ranges, you hit most of the shells. So yeah. Therefore also yeah, you go obviously reload. I mean, that's a given. Everything is like normally or normal specs. As said, like the only thing that is different here is the airstrike mod. You can or cannot take it. Let's hop into the next video, or like game. We can quickly check the end screen. I mean, I didn't do too much damage. It can do a whole bunch of damage. I mean, there were no real BBs for me to farm permanently. Also, I had to fight 3 different destroyers. The Tashkent decided to gun me. The Shimmer decided to 1-for-1 go for me for some odd reason. And the Harugumo was there too. So like I never got really... And the Georgia got like kind of 1 healed and I missed drops. So yeah, there was like limited potential damage. But if you have like 5 BB matchmaking, heavy BBs, and you get into drop range of them and stuff, and torpedo range, you can rack up a whole bunch of damage real fast. I mean, also imagine it's the same with like the Guden. It's fires on demand. That's what you can like really treat it as. If your team gets a DCP out, you're horny. I mean, you're fucking horny. If you see a DCP on a stationary Hanover or Satsuma, you're fucking horny in a Tromp. Or in a Guden even. Like, but Tromp is like, yeah, you want that. You want someone else to get the DCP out of the fire DCP guys, and then you drop him twice and you get like 2 or 3 permafires. That's amazing. And it's for free, like you don't have to be spotted. So it's like also really hard to like balance these kind of ships, like Guden and Trump, because they have this weird way of doing damage without taking any in return. On Trump, it's obviously way more effective than on Guden, like the one where you don't take damage in return, because like the stealth drop range is way easier to make use of because it's also way larger. Yeah, and also as I said in the video or in the game before, you can catch DDs out, fat destroyers like Shermans that are beaching or stationary in smokes. Even the Harugumo I could have potentially hit. I'm just like not really good at aiming it, I guess. But like Sherman, Elbing, or general DDs that beach themselves, for example, head first. Sometimes you can really fuck destroyers. Like it's not uncommon to get like 15 to 20k in both. Like if you send both drops on a DD and hit, like these drops hurt because you pen suddenly. I mean, even on unsaturated superstructure, your alpha isn't bad. I mean, it still doesn't matter because it's like unsaturated, so you get like a bunch of damage, but you're not killing the ship through it. But yeah, it is kind of a good damage farmer, to be honest. Kind of given with 15-9 base range and or like not base range, 15-9 gun range with Ragnar DPM and the strikes. Yeah, I mean, what's like an average for it? Probably like 140 is feasible. If you really sweat for it, 140, 150. Since the gameplay would become pretty stale then, I'm definitely not gonna like really go for it or try it. I would rather have a bit more engaging close range DD fights with it too. Even though it is really tempting to just sit somewhere and fucking farm and drop people. It's also, this kind of ship is the same as like Regulo. I said it in the Regulo video. Staying alive with a sliver of HP is kind of nice. You can still, like those 2 ships for some reason, or like for example, are ships that can make great use by just being alive, no matter what HP you have. Trump with the airstrikes and the torps combined, if you're not at risk of getting run down by a DD, or the Regulo with this moving smokes, obviously. Like you can just press a button and you're permanently cloaked for 40-50 seconds. So yeah, those 2 ships. It's nice to stay alive. It's like important to stay alive because you can still get great use out of them afterwards. Sometimes you overdo it a bit, you farm a bit too much, and then like there comes the 4k hit that you didn't want to eat, and then you're suddenly dead instead of alive with 3-4k. Happens. Can't really do much about it, but yeah, as I said, like the gameplay offers so many different ways, and you have the situation that you feel like you didn't get the best value out of your ship so often that it's really intriguing to keep playing it. I'm not gonna lie, like it's intriguing. It's something you should get, kind of. Like it's not at the top of the list of the most viable ships you should get for coal, because you obviously compete with Napoli, Moscow, Marceau, same as like the Bazan. Oh fuck, dude. Oh, he's gonna murder me. No, he's not. Okay. Well, we're okay. Be able to hit him here, I guess. Ah, yeah. By the way, I didn't like. I missed it because he accelerated out of it. Amazing, really. I didn't really stress it more because I already said it's like Ragnar guns, but do keep in mind it's like obviously since it's Ragnar guns and Ragnar DPM, it also pens 30 millimeters. So like against certain cruisers, you can deal a whole lot of damage as a DD. Kind of nice, right? Not bad, not bad. I mean, the situation here is a wee bit cucked, because everyone is running. The Marceau didn't play the flank. I don't know why he went into D. I mean, the enemy team is losing fast, though. Oh no, what is this? Oh, does he force me to go in front of the rock? There must be something I wouldn't want to do. By the way, it's a shimmer. Obviously, you can see it from the torpedoes. That's a shim, right? Yeah, it's a shim. 15 torps. Fairly easy to spot. So that must be a shimmer. On the flank in front of the Moskva, but I don't really want to go towards the Moskva. I'm too fat and clumsy to really fight him, so I kind of want to use a teammate for assistance or cover. You can see, like 9 km, I'm hitting fairly consistently, doing nice little alpha. It's a gunboat, it's a fucking gunboat, that's for sure. Maybe he eats a torp, could be. Would be very, very unlikely though, I would say. No, he actually eats one, that's amazing. I think he could have been perma-flooded here, because I got a fire, right? Yeah, he's perma-flooded, that's really nice. Wee, there's a Holland coming in too. Yeah, I'd like to check. I mean, you'd like to take these trades with the Haaland for sure if he comes in. I mean, I even outspot him. By the way, that's, for example, one of the reasons why, like... Wait a minute. Maybe he sits there. Why, like, Haaland is so fucking dog shit. Like, I mean, even a Tromp shits on it. Hmm? You should shut the fuck up in your Borg, by the way. Just saying. Don't want to be rude or anything, but you're kind of dog shit. What am I supposed to do against the DDs, man? I ran to the cabin, a 5-9 conceal DD, because I also want to play towards the islands where I can drop people. And that guy's like flaming. Maybe ask the Marceau about the reason why he's not playing anywhere near those 2 torpedo boats. But I can go for them now since the Moskva turned in. I didn't know about that one. So, since I know this, I can go for the uncovered DDs. Like, they're not covered anymore by him. I expected the Moskva to be on the island. On the corner 9-10 line, and then running there like running there is like completely giving him a Wilco. He has the same idea as I do. Like, I think both of us realized that it was just about where the Moskva goes, really. Like, I was going for the Haaland here because I thought there is no Moskva then, or I went for the Trump. I could have gone for those people. Oh, I'm dark. Well, let's try to hunt those destroyers. Pop the speed boost. Let's go. I mean, we're 2 gunboats against 2 torp boats. Those fuckers are dead. Unless we randomly eat a magic amount of mushrooms. No, torps. There's the shim. Hopefully he doesn't have smoke ready. That would be sad. I'm gonna help with the Haaland first. Killing him. It's a steel one. They're in division in there. Look, this, you always feel like you're fucking missing something and like not playing it good. It's really stupid. It's a very stupid. I want to use my airdrome and should have just shot. And like, look, it's you always feel like you're fucking doing it wrong. I don't know, on Trump. Kind of like gets me going sometimes. Like, sometimes I really want to play Trump, but I'm never going like, hey, I want to play fucking Alvaro de Bazan, Alvaro de Ballsack. Like, I never want to do that. So look, like, now I'm not even trying to drop. Fuck this. Just gunning him. It's better. Trust me, it's better. Like, I don't know. You always think about the potential. Oh, I could like 20k them with the drops. Yeah, but like, it's super hard to hit them. So like, why would you focus so much on them? Doesn't make sense. Oh no. Yeah, well, would you spot him, please? Yeah, okay. Okay, their Trump got 13k on me. Amazing, really. That's exactly, man, what I meant. Like, if I'm stuck on a rock or like I'm stationary like here, he has a pretty easy time trying to hit me, man. That is, Not too bad, not too shabby, man. Not too shabby. What did we kill there? Uh, we killed their carrier, so that's kind of nice. I think the Moscow goes on this side, so I can probably reverse around here. But those 13k are definitely not something I wanted to take, because, I mean, I want to trade with their... Wait a minute, we have a reversing battleship, so I can drop that, obviously. Ah, yeah, fuck. Okay, that's weird. What I wanted to say is, if there's multiple people, you lose a lot of planes. That's for sure. Like, I mean, those are even only 2 BBs, and you're still, like, losing planes fast. I mean, he doesn't want to come around on me, I would assume. Like, this is not something he wants to do. He would eat torpedoes. But I also don't want to come around, because I'm like... but I mean... I have to fuck the Tromp. I think it's a trade against the Tromp, like it's 1 for 1. Shit. If he shoots me, I shoot back. We both die, I think. Depends on his spec, though. He's like, for some reason, not full gun like I am. No AR or something. Could maybe win it, but it's like, really likely, dude. Nah, thick. I'm also not hitting. He has speed boost on. Like, oh my god. He's just slowing down, brother. What the fuck, dude? Dude, what the fuck? I mean, I have a... I have an airstrike ready. I'm gonna go out front. I'm dead. No, I'm not dead yet. Oh, I dodged it. Wait a minute. Can I somehow manage to live this? I don't know. Probably not, huh? Maybe I can get a fire there. We got torpedo hits there, huh? Oh, what? He's not gonna shoot me again, is he? Should have fucking shot him here. I'm a wee bit squeezed in between these people. Fairly unlucky. Wasn't a bad game though. I mean, okay, I'm gonna miss these torps because he floods out again. I have a permaflood on the Kreml. Sadly, the Montana DCP'd that one fire I got on him. Yeah, sad. I could like the... Oh, I actually flooded the Kreml to death. I mean, there were like 3 DDs on my flank, so I fought them, like Tromp, Holland, and Shimmer. Them also helped. So I have a lot of DD damage, but other than that, I had to permanently avoid the Moskva. Like, you don't want to be stuck sub 12 kilometers with a Tromp in his radar when he can shoot you. It's like costing you all your HP. Then I got a bit unlucky with the Tromp drop. He fucked me for 13k, which is amazing. By the way, that's, for example, the reason why I went into the drop view, or like tried to drop the Haaland and the Shimmer, because I know you can do that damage. It's just very unlikely. Unless you're playing it like I did, like a doo-doo retard on an island where the Trump has an easy time hitting me. Yeah. Sadly, we didn't get to see a disgusting cycle, really, of perma-dropping from safety or stealth on battleships and getting the fires. I mean, you could see me drop the Monty and the Kreml, but since I was so pushed for time, like pressured, by the Moskva Hydro and all of these ships just inting on me and like trying to shoot me and getting around the island and stuff, I couldn't really consistently drop someone, which is kind of sad, but yeah. I mean, as I said, like, it's not that uncommon to get 200k. It's definitely something that that you can do on the ship if you get to farm BBs. I didn't, sadly. I mean, I did some damage to the Kreml for sure, but yeah. Also, with the drops, as I said, like, don't send both at the same time. I mean, it's nice to have them both ready because then you can go for the permas. But you have to hit the first one or get a fire with the guns, and then like you wait for a DCP until you drop again. Don't do the average World of Warships players gameplay with Tromp or Guden, where you send both drops at the same time. That really only do that if you have like a permanently beached, perfectly positioned ship in a Tromp or in a Guden that you can pen. Like if an Elbing beaches perfectly, obviously I'm gonna send both to get the alpha. The same as like with Guden, if a Conqueror beaches perfectly in front of me, nose in, and I can drop perfect lengthwise to a ship, I'm gonna send both, and I'm gonna get the 40-50k alpha. I'ma do that. Like I'm going to take these chances, but that's very rare. So in general, you want to like rotate the airstrikes for the fires, even on Guden. Yeah, that's it for Trump. I'd say it's middle. It's in the middle of what you should get for Cole, really. Maybe a bit to the higher end. If you like something new and special, like if you're tired of all the average ship gameplay that you already have endured. But yeah, that's it for Trump. Pretty nice destroyer in my opinion, and I see you for the next DD, I guess.